Hello everyone and welcome to the 35th episode of Nina and Knitting. My name is Nina and I live in Jyväskylä in central Finland with my husband, our two kids and a dog. I'm not on Instagram, but you can find me on Ravelry as ninima, and there's also a Ravelry group for this podcast. It's called Nina and Knitting Podcast, and you can find that by searching in the groups tab or by clicking on the link here below in the description box where that'll lead you to the episode thread with show notes. And in the group there's also an introductions thread and an ask me anything thread. Today I'm not at home. As you can see, I'm by the lake. It's been a wonderful summer. Today the temperature is, I think, at least plus 30 degrees Celsius. I'll put it on the screen what that is in Fahrenheit. It's just amazing. We're on an island which has this beautiful sandy beach, and we've been just enjoying ourselves and swimming, and it's been great. Today's episode is, well, a bit of a mix and match, as was the previous one. Sorry for that, but there's just not enough time to do this at one go, so I'm just taking you through whatever I've done during the past, I think, at least 3 weeks, in little small segments. Today is Wednesday, July 25th, and I'm in the countryside. It's past, well, I think it's about 8 p.m. at the moment. The sun is right in my eye, is shining into my eyes, and it's kind of weird. The temperature is still over 25 degrees Celsius, I think. And yeah, it's been just weird. But for today's episodes, so I'm sorry, this will be a little jigsaw puzzle once again. Maybe after the vacation's over, so that means in 2 weeks time, yeah, I'll get back to the normal way of doing episodes, so at one go, and then just editing out all the stupid things I say and do. But yeah, today it'll be these small segments again. And I have 5 finished objects. I have 2 whips. I have just a little bit of acquisitions, and then I'm going to talk about a small giveaway and then some chit chat at the very end of this episode. The video you saw in the beginning of this episode was taken on an island where we went yesterday. I filmed a small segment in there too, and it was just this beautiful sand beach that there was in there, and nobody else than us. So it was a treat. That's what you saw in the beginning. And now let's get to my FOs. My first finished object is the crochet project I was working on last time. And here it is, all ready, nice and ready. So this is a skull shawl, back, all hoodie, whatever, that I found on a blog. And the blog is silmukoita.blogspot.com. I'll write it on the screen. The yarn I used here is this sort of yarn, Dora, Örenbajan, something, Madame Tricot. It's an acrylic, 100% acrylic, yeah. Yarn. I just happened to have it, and since I wanted to crochet this, then yeah, that's what I found. I used all of the skein, so about 100 grams, And as you can see, it's not a big shawl in any way. I'm pretty sure I'll find someone who will want to use it as an accessory. Skulls really aren't my thing, but I just wanted to make this because I thought it was fun. So that's it. I used a 3.5 millimeter hook, and in the US things, I think, and US system, it means hook E. And yeah, this I finished this off with, don't know if you can see it, crab stitches on the edge here. It's in black, so well, you can't see much. Yeah, but this was my first, the thing that I finished first after my last episode. Okay, then it was time for the tour de socks to start, and the first stage of the tour started on the 7th of July, maybe, here in Finland at 4 p.m. local time. At that time, I was on Nathan Taylor's course, double knitting course, but I started my socks after the course had ended, and I had gone back to the Knit Fest area. So I pulled up my tablet and downloaded the pattern and then got started. So this pattern, oops, dog here, is called Plan E. Oh no, sorry, not Plan E, Plan A. And it's by Adrian Fong. And the yarn I used here is Manos del Uruguay, Alegria. The colorway is Locura Fluo. It's 75% superwash merino, 25% polyamide. And yeah, so it's a cuff down pattern. There's a twisted cuff in here, and then some 2x2, I think 2x2, yeah, ribbing, and then the motif started, and then you made an eye of partridge heel flap. The sort of different thing about these socks were, that's the dog, were that the gusset decreases were on the sole of the sock. I think it made the sock fit in or around the heel pretty nicely. I really like that. And yeah, I used 3.0 millimeter Knit Pro Symphony circular needles. I knit these one at a time. And magic loop though, and the size I knit is small, so the size S. And what else have I written down? Yeah, I think the pattern would really show better in a sort of solid, semi-solid, or even tonal yarn. But well, the sort of info we got before the stage started was that we could go crazy with the yarn. So this is what I had bought specifically for this stage. And when I saw the pattern, I was like, oh well, okay, I'll just use what I have. And since this motif is really pretty easy and could get dull, and I'm actually pretty sort of happy that I used this yarn, because the yarn made it interesting, because there is just a couple of stitches in one color and then it changes to another. So it was a nice yarn to knit, and it's very soft. I really like it. So yeah, these socks they actually fit my foot. I have a pair for myself, possibly, if I decide to keep them. But yeah, they're pretty and I like them. That's my FO number 2. And as you can see, I've changed into my FO number 3. So it was a whip last time and now I've finally finished it. This pattern is called Greenhouse Knits number 6 by Alpha Knits, and I used Louhittaren luola or Knit Lopes Lair Kuutar, which maybe you can see, maybe you can't. 50% merino, superwash merino, and 50% bamboo, 400 meters in 100 grams skein. I had bought 3 skeins and I used most of them. I haven't weighed this, but I still have a small ball left, but I'm really happy that I got the amount that I did and I didn't need to go and buy a new one. This is size L and I use this button that maybe I'll show you a little later. I have the same buttons in another project. And so yeah, these are something that I bought on eBay. I bought a bag of them, maybe several dozens of wooden buttons. And last time I was stuck on the no, this part, this left front piece. I thought I was in here, but I had too many stitches between the decreases. Well, I did try to, count the rows again and see that I had followed the pattern right, and I couldn't find a mistake. Then I thought, well, maybe it was there, and I had to rip back maybe 2/3 of the front, and then I reknit it, and I discovered no, it wasn't a mistake. I hadn't made a mistake. I don't know what this is, and then it occurred to me to check whether my front center was in the front. And gee, as it happens, it makes a difference whether it's in the front or say about 10 stitches off. So I had to rip back down here before the opening. And I reknit it, put the center front marker in the center front, reknit it, and voila, it all made sense. So yeah, that was good. That was an educative, well, it was a learning experience. And something, a tip for you all. If the pattern says to put a center front marker in the center, make sure that it is in the center. That's my tip from me to you. Yeah, so I really had wanted to finish this before the knit fest, because there was this Jyväskylä knit fest here, but that didn't happen. I just didn't have the time to do it, and I just couldn't. But yeah, it's ready now. It's really hot, and this shirt is also very hot. I'm gonna try and stand up and take a little bit of video of how it looks. It's actually pretty long. It's just it ends sort of where my bum ends, so it's actually pretty long after blocking and everything, maybe. But yeah, I'll try to take a little bit of video and show you how this looks. I really love this motif in here. So yeah, it doesn't look great with the pants I'm using or wearing at the moment. The colors kind of clash, but I really do like this shirt, and like I said, both of the sleeves have this lace motif, and then there's this panel going down or up because this was knit bottom up, and I really like this finished object. Now that it's finished, and I'm waiting to for the weather to turn a little cooler so that I can really start wearing it. My fourth finished object is something I wanted to try for the course that I was taking on the Jyväskylä Fest, which I had signed up for Nathan Taylor's double knitting, demystifying double knitting course. And yeah, I had, after signing in, I had realized that yes, I've done double knitting before, but I just wanted to make sure that I remembered what it was. So I went on Ravelry, started searching for double knitting projects, smaller ones, and this is what I found. So this pattern is called Coffee and Tea DK Pot Holders by Elizabeth Evans. And yeah, it's double knitting, so the cup is the mirror image of this one on the other side. The yarn I used here is Novika 7 veljestä. So it's a Finnish, normal Finnish, affordable sock yarn, about iron weight, and I used 4.0 millimeter DPNs. They're US size 7, just 2 DPNs. And I had watched Nathan Taylor's Sockmaticians tutorials, so I used his tutorial to do the cast on, and then the edges. And as you can see, they're not very nice and neat. I haven't locked this at all, but yeah, it was just to sort of make sure that I remember what it is. And I didn't even find it off before the course, because I was trying to finish the shirt I just showed you. But yeah, so afterwards I kitchenered. And yeah, it's just a pot holder. Maybe I'll use it. Maybe I'll give it to somebody. I don't know. But yeah, this is my fourth finished object. Here's one more. My fifth finished object is the second stage of the Tuore sock. So this pattern is called Odensjön Socks by Suzanne Sjögren. She's a Swedish designer, and yeah, the yarn I used here is something I bought the first year that I was taking part in the sock. Oh, you can't see anything. I think I have a business card in here somewhere too. So Cauldron's Path yarns, and it's Waxing Moon base. So this is 80% superocean merino, 20% nylon, and 400 yards in 100 grams. And I used 2.5 millimeter needles because I bought 2.5 millimeter Chagu needles, circs, and I wanted to try them. And well, I really like the needles, but the fact that they are 2.5 millimeter, and I usually use 3.0 millimeter, So 2.5 millimeter is US size 1.5. So this is a size smaller than my usual, and yes, the cage is tighter, and of course the motif too really pulls it in. So I had two things to make the socks smaller than they would have been. I knit medium sized, and I knit them two at a time on magic loop, and they are really small. I'm gonna try and see if I can show you the cast on that was required in the pattern is the German twisted. I think I've used it before. It was in another daughter sock pattern, maybe not last year, but the year before, perhaps. I haven't used it since, but yeah, it's nice enough and very stretchy too. And then there's this twisted rib that seemed to go on and on and on. I thought it was just really long, even though it's not that long. But, you know, it felt very long. And then, you know, one by one cables, and then a little bigger cable, and then some pearls in between. Just your regular slip stitch heel fluff, but in these socks too, the gusset decreases, or you could choose, but I chose the version with the gusset decreases here on the sole, and I really like it. I made the minimum amount of repeats, and I'm pretty sure that these socks will be for my 10-year-old niece. But they're really pretty. I love this yarn. I love this color. I have not blocked these yet, but yeah, they're really pretty. I'm just going to have to make sure, ask my sister and make sure that they'll fit the middle niece, or if not, well, they'll be a Christmas gift for my youngest niece, who is 8. There's one last thing that I talked about, or I've shown you as a finished object a couple of episodes ago, 2 or 3 episodes ago maybe, but I didn't have the buttons then. Now I have added the buttons, and these are the same buttons I have in the shirt I just showed you. So it has handmade with love, and then there are these small hearts. They're wooden buttons, and this is a cow I made some time ago. Now I have the buttons for it. Now let's talk about my whips. I have 2, and the first of them is something that I was knitting on during the Jyväskylä Knit Fest, and I haven't ever since. I'm gonna explain that in just a sec, but I'll start with the yarn. So the first yarn is Cosmic Strings sock yarn, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and the colorway is called Wabi Sabi. This is something I have shown you when I bought it. It's something pretty wild, and it knits up really nicely. I don't think if they dye it anymore. I do think it's a really cool and fun colorway. So I'm really hoping that they do, because I have a specific project in mind. But anyway, so this is Cosmic Strings. And then I have another one, which is from Louhittaren Luola, so Knit Lope's Lair. And this is Tuulen Tytär, so it's a 100% superwash merino. And it's an Eiku color, so it's a oops colorway. And let me just show you that and show them to you side by side. I think they will be fabulous. once I get to it. So I needed something simple to knit during the Knit Fest because I was working as a volunteer and a part of the time, and then I was going to go to the sort of knit night. Well, I went to the knit night. There was a knit night on one evening, and then there were these get-togethers all through the Knit Fest, which lasted for 4 days, I think. But yeah, so I needed something easy. So it was a shawl. And actually, for these two colors, I had thought about um, a different shawl pattern, and I was I had already caked them up, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna download the PDF on my tablet computer. And then I went online on Ravelry, and I discovered that it needs a third color. Of course, you can knit it with two, just the two colors, but then I would have needed two skeins of one of these, and I didn't because I have one and one. So I had to just quickly come up with another pattern that I could knit with these colors. So I had this pattern from Meiju KP, I think. It's called Jyväskylä Soft. So I decided, yeah, I'm gonna make that. And see how this knits up in a shawl. Isn't that just amazing? Really. It's wild, but still it's not like random, or it is, of course, the different colors just happen to be side by side, but still I really like how it knits up in a like large scale knit. But the problems that I've had with this one is something that a fellow knitter at the knit night called the tit. You know, the boob here. This is the this should be straight. This should be a straight line, and because of the tab cast on, I didn't make it loosely enough or something or the other. I really don't know. But anyway, it has this stupid effect. And of course, once you're wearing the shawl, nobody's gonna see it. But then again, I really, really, really love this yarn. And when I take some finished project photos, I'm going to have a problem with this. And yes, blocking will help a little bit, but there's only so much that you can stretch the upper line or the upper, yeah. So no, I don't like this. I'm gonna have to I'm just going to go in back and fix it. And the other one was the edges. I was working as a course secretary or something at Melanie Berg's course. She was talking about shawl designs and shawl construction, and I was eavesdropping, of course. No, it wasn't eavesdropping. I was working there, and I heard her talk about what she does with the edges, where you have the garter edge and then the increases after the couple of like two, or maybe every now and then there's three stitches of garter in the along the edges, and then there is the increase after that for the shawl to get bigger. And she told that whenever she knits shawls with this sort of edge, when she starts a row, she makes knit one, yarn over, knit one, and then according to the pattern until the 3 last stitches, which in the pattern would be 2, like knit 2 in the at the end. But if you've started with knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, you'll have a stitch, a yarn over, and a stitch at the end of the row. So she knits 1, drops the yarn over, and then knits the last stitch. So yeah, you will only have 2 stitches, but the yarn over will help for the edge to be looser and stretchy. So I was just thinking that yeah, maybe I'll continue like that, because I was, as you can see, I've knit pretty much already. I've been counting stitches, and that's why I have these stitch markers here. But then after I'd sort of pondered and, you know, maybe I will, maybe I'll rip it back, maybe I won't, maybe I'll restart it, well, maybe I'll frog it. And I just like this yarn too much for me to leave something that will bug me this much. So I will go and frog the whole thing and start it all over again. Try to see what I can do in the garter tab cast on, and then do the yarn overs here in the edges so that they'll be nicer. I hope that'll fix it. I may be getting maxed out with the memory of my tablet computer that I use for recording. But yeah, so the reason why this happens is probably pretty much because I knit so tightly. If I were a looser knitter, then yeah, the problem wouldn't be as big. But now it is, with the way I do it, it is, and I'm just not gonna try and live with it. I've used my Chaubu 4.0 millimeter, so US 6 needles, red lace needles. Really like them, as I've told before. They're really nice, and I really like the cord. I've bought some in different sizes too. But yeah, this will be frogged and then reknit. And once I get to a part where that you can sort of see the shawl, then yeah, you'll get how it will look when I finish it. But at this point, you'll just be able to see the beautiful way these cosmic strings and colorway knits up. Yeah, that's my first whip, and it's been just sitting there for a number of weeks already, because I've been trying to decide, and now I have made up my mind to go on and frog it, and then I'll be doing it all over again. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna start it this next weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that a little later. And then my next, the second work in progress, something that I have been working on now that the shawl has been on hold. The Kalevala blanket is back. So there was this crochet along in Finland last year because Finland celebrated 100 years of independence. And they started a crochet along for a blanket somewhere in August, I think. I've only made 4 squares, and I think there should be 26 or something. Maybe more. I don't know. But I have finished a couple more squares. This one is vanha tammi. So that's the big oak. I don't remember the name of the designer. The thing is that all the squares are designed by different people, and I don't have the name in here. I may put it in my project page, but I haven't done that yet. Anyway, this was quite a fun square to crochet. I'm using, let me show you, 4.0 millimeter hook. Whoops, hook. Just something very cheap that I bought online. And so that's 4.0 mil, and I think that's E, maybe, maybe not. Anyway, and the yarn I use here is Menitalasse. So I bought a kit with different colorways of this same yarn. It's 75% wool and 25% polyamide, and there are about 200 meters in 100 grams. But as you can see, the yarn is sort of really plump or something. There are 4 plies. You probably can't see it, but it is 4 ply. But I think it's very loosely spun. Yeah, I have different colors of this, and I do it according to the pattern with these colors. So this is the first one. I did have to, rip it back and do it all over again a couple of times. And as you can see, it's very curly. I'm hoping that walking will help a little. But yeah, I know that sort of center is very, very tightly crocheted. Well, that's a big surprise that I crochet tightly too, like I do with my knitting. But yeah, sorry, we have these the horse flies. They bite and it hurts. Yeah, so there are no horses around, but there are a lot of those flies that bite. So this is the big oak, and it was quite a fun square to crochet. And then there is the next one, which is Pohjan akka, the hostess of Pohja, and looks like this. So this was quite a different square to crochet. Different techniques used in here, and if you compare the sizes, they're pretty different. I'm just gonna have to try and stretch this pretty much, and try not to stretch this one when I block them, and see how it goes. Maybe, well, I don't know if I'll have to do something about it, but at this point I'm not going to try it. So I have finished 2 squares. Then there's a third square that I've been crocheting this time around. This is called Lemminkäinen, and there are these 3 circles that are all joined together, or they're sort of wrapped around each other or something. And yeah, I'm not very far off, but this is just something that I can't crochet when I'm sort of moving, because I need the instructions from the net, and I don't have the I don't have a internet connection of its own for the tablet, so I always use it only in Wi-Fi, or using my cell phone as a hotspot. But so this is actually something that I only have crocheted here when we've been inside, not in the car, not in the boat or anything. So this is this is called Lemminkäinen, and maybe next time I'll show you as a finished square, but I'm not gonna call these finished objects because they are just parts of a bigger blanket, and the blanket is pretty far from being finished. Yeah, so these are my whips at the moment. And next we could talk about some acquisitions. I haven't bought much of anything, but I do have one new skein of yarn. So as I was at the Jyväskylän Knit Fest, I was thinking I do have to buy at least one skein of yarn, because come on, we have all these beautiful yarn vendors and all this beautiful yarn around me. I have to buy something, because otherwise it will be just pathetic. So yes, I did. I bought a skein of akka yarn, which is pretty sad, because akka yarn is something that I can normally get from, I think Tititty, the big yarn store in Jyväskylä, sells it any day. But yeah, I bought this from the Knit Fest. This is the BFL sock base, and the colorway is called Blizzard. So it's 75% blue-faced Leicester wool and 25% nylon. And 425 meters in 100 grams. I thought this would look pretty nice, and maybe the men in my life will want me to knit them a pair of socks in this yarn. So that's why I bought this. And it's the only thing I bought from Jyväskylän Knit Fest. Anyway, and then after the Knit Fest, as I was knitting, I think the second stage socks for the Turva sock, I decided that I do need a 3.0 millimeter, so US size 2.5, Chaugu red lace needles to knit fingering weight socks with, because 3.0 millimeter is the size that I use for fingering weight yarn when I knit socks. So that's what I needed to buy. I just got it last week. These are my two acquisitions. And then there is a sort of surprise giveaway sort of thing. My podcast turned 2 at the beginning of July, maybe 6th, or I don't remember. Anyway, somewhere at the beginning. And I'm not gonna do a regular thread for the giveaway or something. By the time this video is uploaded onto YouTube, I will have used random.org to choose a winner from the people who are members in my Ravelry group, and I'm gonna see if they have a wish list, a pattern on their wish list, and then I'm gonna give them a pattern as a gift. If they don't have a wish list, I'm just gonna PM them and ask which pattern they would want me to give them as a 2-year podiversary giveaway sort of thing. And then some chit-chat, some chatter. I've mentioned the Jyväskylän Knit Fest already a number of times during this episode, but yeah, it was on the 5th of July, started on the 5th, I think, and ended at the 9th. No, that can't be right. Anyway, at the beginning of this month, and I was there. I was working as a volunteer, and then I was meeting people. I got to meet some really, really fun Finns, and I got to meet Nathan Taylor at his course, and he was just as funny IRL in real life as he is in his podcast. He was very, very nice. And I met Melanie Berg. She was very, very nice. And then there was Nancy Marchant. She was teaching there too. And who else? The big names, you know. Anyway, a number of people. And then we had a knit night at the Crafts Museum on the Friday evening, I think. And I was, I had a very, very nice evening there. I was sitting with some Finns and we were talking and laughing and knitting, and it was just the best evening ever. I was really enjoying myself. Actually, the whole time I was there, because I live in Jyväskylä, and so I was at home, but I had the opportunity to be home alone. So I went to the Knit Fest. Yeah, I had the dog at home, but I didn't have to worry about the kids or my husband or anything. So I could just spend time with my knitter friends and look at yarn and just enjoy myself. And yeah, go back home to, take care of the dog. But, it's after being very social all day long, I went home and then I took the dog for a walk, and I didn't have to talk to anybody anymore. And I could just sit and knit. It was just very, very nice and very relaxing as like a small mini vacation in the middle of vacation time. So that was really great. And yeah, so I was working, I was at midnights and meets and greets and whatever. And then I took Nathan Taylor's Demystifying Double Knitting course, like I mentioned last time, I think. And I knit this small square in there. As you can see, it's not very neat from the edges, but yeah, it was a fun course to be at, and yeah, like I said, he was very, very funny during the course, and I stayed there for a while to chat with him after the course. I was trying to learn him to count from 1 to 10 in Finnish, and he promised to rehearse, and he'd get back to me later on that evening, because we had this another sort of knitting meeting at the venue. He had to go back to his hotel or whatever to for a while. And by the time he got to the venue, I think I had already had to go back home to take care of the dog. But yeah, it was very, very nice. I didn't go there on Sunday anymore because that's when I had to take a ride with my mother-in-law and come to the countryside where I am at the moment. But yeah, Jyväskylän Knit Fest was really nice. We got these tote bags, all the volunteers, or we could choose between a tote bag and a small project bag, but I got this one. And yeah, that was it. And after that, I've been in the countryside more or less. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we've been just enjoying the wonderful, wonderful weather. We've been swimming and we've been seeing some friends, and it's been just great. I was working in a dog show a week or two ago in Lauka, and I have a small video clip that I'm gonna put at the beginning of this episode. I stopped on my way back here in my mother-in-law's summer place or whatever this is called. I stopped at Kuusa, which is a really small part of, I think it's a part of Lauka. And there are these rapids, and it's just beautiful and it's magnificent, and the sound of the water like pounding. Wow, it's just amazing. So I took a little video, and that's what I'm gonna put at the end of this episode. This weekend I'll be working at a dog show in Mikkeli, which is an hour and a half from Jyväskylä, I think. Jyväskylä, on the other hand, will have some action also. The Nester Rally Finland rally driving competition is there, so there are a lot of people and different things to see in Jyväskylä, but I won't be there. I'll be in Mikkeli. And I sort of prefer not to be there because a lot of these rally people also means that there's a lot of traffic, and you know, it's maybe not as fun as it sounds if you're not into seeing the rally itself, because that could be something that you like. I've been to see one of the special, what are they called? Special trials? No, something. You know, the episodes of the segments they do where they take time in different locations. Anyway, I've been to see one of them once many years ago. But it's, you know, car racing isn't really my kind of thing. Yeah. But now I'm going to try and get all this edited, and I'm gonna see if I can upload it onto YouTube today, or maybe when I go back to Jyväskylä on Friday, because I have a better internet connection in there. Either way, I hope you can take a little bit of time to leave me some comments, either here on YouTube down below or in the episode thread on Ravelry. And other than that, I just hope you're having a great time, you're enjoying the weather and all that, and I'll see you again when I see you. Bye!